Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we have another new Kaiser to take a look at. And this one's a little special because you guys probably know by now, I have a really good relationship with Kaiser. They send me a lot of stuff to get on the channel. And, a lot of the times it is, I don't necessarily pay for it. They send it to me to take a look at and to show you guys and to kind of get the word out. And that's great for me because I personally love Kaiser products, so I love doing that. I wouldn't necessarily do it with every knife company in the world, but I do think Kaiser is the best knife you can get in terms of value, action, quality, all that good stuff under $100. I've said it before, but that's why I do it, because I enjoy working with companies that I have a lot of respect for and appreciate the product they put out. But this here is not one Kaiser sent to me. This is one that I bought with my own money from a certain retailer because this is an exclusive. You can only get this through one retailer, and I will hit on that in just a second, but it's not just any exclusive. It's an exclusive of one of my favorite Kaiser models ever turned into a button lock. Yeah, it's really good. I have actually already had this out of the box and looked at it because I just couldn't wait, but we'll do the whole unboxing experience for you guys here and take a look at what we got here. And I gotta say, this is one of the coolest button locks so far that I've come across because, like I said, I just love the model. And what is this? This is none other than the Kaiser Gemini turned into a button lock. And why is that awesome? Well, first of all, we already have, let's flip it real quick. You hear that? That button sound? So good. What's really awesome about this model is there's already so many other flavors and versions of this knife, and I actually have a couple more, but these are the two I have for the video here because there's some really important things to know because while these are the same model, there's some significant differences in the handle that we'll hit on outside of just the button, of course, that we'll hit on here in just a second. But first, I thought it'd be worth throwing a couple other knives out here to do a quick size comparison in case someone hasn't handled the Gemini yet. If you haven't handled the Gemini, as you may or may not know, it's a Ray Laconico design. I'm a huge Ray Laconico fan. I think he is a brilliant artist and makes some incredible knives. And yeah, so it's definitely one you should take a look at if you're looking for a new EDC, because this really does fall in the lines of a fantastic EDC option, especially if you're looking to that $100-ish range or less. But as you can see, here they are with the Benchmade bug out in the Hogue Deca. Really good size comparisons there, so excellent EDC option. And in terms of price, this guy here is coming in at $119.95, so $120 for a Kaiser. That is a little more than most Kaisers. They're normally south of $100. A couple things that make this one a little more expensive is the steel. We're going with CPM 4V steel here, which I personally, it's okay for me. I would have much rather seen like CPM 3V or a couple other slightly more stainless options. But 4V is still considered a high-end steel, so it's a decent steel to have on there. I think there's a couple other ones I would have rather went with, but nonetheless, that's what we're stuck with here, CPM 4V. So nothing really to complain about, but it is what it is. Now, where'd this come from? This is a Knife Center exclusive, and it's still available. It's not even a pre-order. You can buy them right now, and they will ship out the day or the day after you buy them, however long it takes Knife Center to pick your order and get it in the mail to you. So it is available now, and it's just good. It's just as good as the other Geminis with a slight difference, and we're going to go over that here real quick. Let's put this back on the table, and let's bring out the other Geminis here. Here's the Burlap Micarta version, as well as the newest, or well, not the newest anymore, the second newest, Raffir Noble scale options. So here's your Geminis, and now in terms of length, yeah, they're all the same. Exact same handle shape, exact same blade shape and blade length, and they all got flippers. The big difference is in the thickness of these handles. And it's a considerable difference because this Burlap Micarta option here, I try to reach for the liner lock on that button lock, is much thinner in hand. let's take the Revere Noble while we got this, because I'm sure there's probably some people, if you like the Gemini, you've probably considered buying this. This is considerably more expensive, like $168 or whatever. But as you can see, let's compare the thickness. And now obviously we're just comparing the actual handle, but as you can see there, a significant difference in terms of just handle thickness by comparing it butt to butt. Now let's also try the button lock version here and see where it comes at in thickness. As you can see, it's not quite as thick as the Revere Noble option, but it is still thicker in overall handle thickness than this Gemini. And the reason I'm using this Gemini is because this is a rather... It's one of the more popular versions. It's been around a long time. So if you have a Gemini, there's a good chance you have this version here with the inset liner lock. As you can see, there's an inset liner lock on this, as to where on the Revere Noble version, it's not inset. It's just a liner lock, which is fine too. I have no issue with this. Absolutely love this knife. But that's primarily where the big difference in thickness is you have just regular liners here that are visible, and then you have recessed liners here on this option. So it's not a problem. To be totally honest, I don't really care about one over the other because I don't think this is too thick. I actually think this feels great in hand, but I also think that this one here feels great in hand. So I really don't have a preference. I honestly don't. It really comes down more to whether or not you prefer a button lock or just maybe you like burlap micarta. I don't know. I personally, this burlap micarta actually looks pretty rough. Not my favorite version of the Gemini. But this is a phenomenal version of the Gemini. Why? Well, obviously, you guys know, it's no secret, I do love button locks. I didn't only fall for the craze, I kind of went hook, line, and sinker into the button lock craze. But this is a different button lock as well. This is not the type of button lock where you can see the plunge of the button come down and come up behind the bottom of the blade. This is actually the same button locking mechanism as the Kaiser Cormorant. And if you guys know the history about that, that was designed by Dr. EDC from Kaiser. He came out with that locking mechanism, and he's since tweaked it for his Thunderbird version with Vosteed knives. But this one here has the whole plunge of the button going inside the bottom of the blade here, inside the actual hole. So there's a hole cut out in the blade where this goes down into, and it is a more secure lockup. And another thing that I noticed with this, considerably less button stick. There's still a little stick there. If you listen, you can hear it, but it's not nearly as bad as a good number of other button locks. If I was to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, with obviously 10 being the worst amount of button lock stick and 1 being the least, I would probably give this like a 3. It's definitely one of the least noticeable button sticks in terms of a button lock. So I really like that, and I also really like the security that you have of the whole plunge of the button going into the bottom of the blade. It's obviously more secure. And another thing you don't have with this is any type of little wiggle on the flipper. There's a lot of the other button locks that are out there, because of the difference in design, you can get just a little bit of blade wiggle when the blade is closed. Now, I've said before, I think I've said this before in the past, that doesn't necessarily break the deal for me, because that's kind of just the nature of the design. That's another reason I prefer this button lock design over those ones, because you don't have any of that. I mean, you have to break the lock for it to actually move out of the position it's held in. So I really, really like that a lot. And I just love the action of this guy. Very, very smooth action. I was really surprised with this. There's a decent amount of button locks that have come from Kaiser and other manufacturers to where I've had to open them up and clean them out, and then they run fine. This, I would consider this the smoothest button lock, right with the Vosteed Thunderbird that just came out, in terms of just actual smoothness in the bearings. I didn't have to disassemble it or clean it. I didn't have to do anything. It just is so smooth. So incredibly smooth. Now, can you get just about any button lock like that? Yes, you can, but it'll take some disassembly, some lubing, some extra little fine tuning. This one came out of the box just good to go. And I can even I can even do the thumb flick on this, which I can't do on just about any other knife. I really suck with like kind of the lighter thumb flick, but I can do it on this one. And I don't know if I'll do it a lot because I can't say I love it, but I was just excited that I could do it because I usually can't. So this knife here is an awesome exclusive in my opinion. It's one of the better exclusives to come out this year, and I really wanted to get it on the channel, and even though I had to pay for it with my own money, it's also kind of just become part of my Ray Laconico collection because he is one of the few designers to where I do just enjoy collecting his work, because I think Ray is just, like I said before, an extremely talented artist and a phenomenal knife maker. So I like to collect pieces from artists that I enjoy, and this is one of them. And I do think, I gotta say, these are probably the Raffier Noble as well as this button locker, probably my two favorite versions of the Gemini. Both great, and this one is considerably less, coming in at 120 bucks and readily available. Hop on over to Knife Center and pick one up, guys. I will have it linked below. And FYI, since it's with Knife Center, I have no affiliation with Knife Center. I don't get any kickback. I don't get nothing. In terms of my relationship with Knife Center, I'm nothing more than a customer. I don't do that a lot. I try not to link with retailers that I don't really have a relationship with, but I also want to keep it part of the integrity of my channel into providing you guys with a lot of the knives out there that I really enjoy, that I think are worth your time, that I think are worth paying attention. So every once in a while I kind of break my own rule because I want to get the word out there about knives and designs that I enjoy. So take that for what it's worth, but it's not all about the affiliate links and all the commissions and all that stuff. Sometimes it's just about bringing you guys good content and knives that I think are worth your attention. So this is one of them. I really do enjoy it. Huge fan of this. The Kaiser Gemini button lock Knife Center exclusive. Let me know what you guys think about this. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.